All right, man, bruh. Let's look at the Clippers. I know a lot of y'all are mad, man. A lot of y'all aren't happy. A lot of y'all aren't happy with what happened. You know what I mean? If you saw my prediction video, I did predict the Clippers in 5. I thought it's going to be something different. And I still think they can win 4 straight, but we'll talk about it. But we have to talk about the kryptonite in terms of Luka. We have to talk about what's happening defensively, what the scheme is schematically, what is the failures, what is the positive things, what's the negative things, what is the things at hand that's transpiring, why is what you're seeing is why, and all of that. I'm gonna break it down as best as I can. There's not gonna be, I'm not gonna do it in terms of actual the footage because we're gonna talk about it, and if you could see, I'm gonna play some clips and you'll see, but if you could actually just see and just remember to what transpired and actually just understand what I'm saying, then you'll actually understand that, you'll see it, it'll come full circle because there's some things I didn't like in terms of just game plan, just schematically from the coaching staff, from Ty Lue and them that I didn't like, right? There's things that need to be adjusted. There was things that were no IQ, and I'll talk about it and you'll see it play at hand. At the end of the day, Luka's Luka, man. Luka's Luka, and you're seeing even more ability being applied. Like, this is more mid-range than I've ever seen him take. You know what I'm saying? And he's been doing this throughout the regular season where one-legged step back, like he's applying more mid-range. So he's becoming more of a 3-level scorer, which is even more scarier. More scary, and that now changes certain things you were able to do before, you now can't do in terms of switching everything. So we're going to get into that, but, let's go into the context because I give it that context. Let's go straight right into it, boys. So basically, right, again, what was transpiring. So let's talk about Kawhi first, right? So what you saw with Kawhi, right? What you saw with Kawhi in the first half, right? In the first half of things was that you saw Kawhi able to be aggressive. Kawhi had 15 points in the first quarter, something like that. I'm just going off of the dome. I'm not going off of, just reading stats, whatever. I think he had 15 points in the first, if that's what I remember, maybe 17, but whatever. He was eating in the first, right? So the fact that, he was eating, why was he able to eat and be aggressive in the first half and mainly the first 3 quarters? What was the difference? This is what people don't see. The difference was Kawhi was able to get a lot of one-on-one. He was able to hold it for a while. There was no double teams. It was a lot of one-on-one. Through miss, they were switching everything. Sometimes he'll have Finney Smith. Sometimes he'll have Hardaway. Sometimes he'll have, Kleba, and you're able to face it. Like, no double team was coming in sight. So, it will come here and there, but it wasn't like a game plan thing where we do it on every catch, on everything. So he was able to be aggressive, and Kawhi was looking like the Kawhi we expect come playoff time, where he rises level of play and he's on this whole new tier. But what changed near the closing? What changed near the fourth? What was changing was the change was they adjusted, and that's what I always told people from the bubble, right? The bubble, what the Nuggets did, that opened up everybody's eyes. And this is what always even was happening when he was with the Raptors too. What they would do is they will start to double team, right? They'll start to double team and aggressively double team. Now, when he was with the Raptors, they didn't do it OD. They were kind of gapping and shading, but they did at times do it, especially even Golden State. This is why we wasn't eating OD like he did in every other series, right? If you go pay attention to him. I'm bringing up his ring year because people think that how he looked in Toronto is different than he looked in LA, right? So, that's why I'm bringing that up. But again, the blueprint though for the fail, especially with this Clippers team, was aggressively double team Kawhi and make everybody else play make or shot create off of getting it out his hand. And that was the failure that happened in Game 7. That was the failure that happened. All those leads that they had, now all of a sudden, because Kawhi was eating all those games, but his eating wasn't sustainable in terms of they changed their game plan. That's what the Nuggets did. All those times during their comebacks, all those from the 3-1 lead, those 3 games in the second half, fourth quarter, they aggressively double-teamed Kawhi, and then PG had to create, and everyone has to create when you get it out his hand around the 14, 15, 16 minute second mark on the shot clock. Now on the back end of the shot clock, everybody's creating under duress. And that's the blueprint to beat this Clippers team, or to create chaos and create some havoc. And they're not moving on the same page or same eliteness that they normally move on. And that's where I was always saying the Clippers closing is always a problem. It has been. I've seen ample enough evidence in the regular season that told me that, okay, you know what? I haven't seen something polished where I know what I'm gonna see come playoff time in terms of closing. I haven't seen that, and that's why my worry was up to a 4 or 5 for the Clippers, because I've seen so much closing scenarios in the regular season that didn't look good. Didn't look good at all. We actually never seen any good closing period, actually, when you look at it. So, that was something that gave me more worries, and that's why I didn't erase completely people saying Clippers are pretenders and this and that and the third. Now, the reason why I didn't go to a 10 rating in terms of worry, because, again, if Kawhi is being Kawhi, like I think he is, the 30 points and whatever, that closing might not even get to that point all the time, right? So, again, that's why it was a 5 worry, right? So, now let's go further than that. That's why this is the second half, the fourth quarter, you've seen he didn't take as much shots and all of that type of stuff. But now let's go further. That's just an overall statement of Kawhi getting double. Let's go further. Let's go more advanced breakdown, more advanced thinking. Now, within the actual double teaming, let's analyze and talk about ways to avoid it or ways to not cop to it. Because, again, this is what people don't understand. This is why I always say, when you get double teamed, it's how you're double teamed. Now, Kawhi's in double team from screens. He's not getting a screen and getting trapped. He is at some times, but what's happening is Kawhi's actually getting it. He'll run the screen to switch, and they'll double him off the screen right away. Or when he gets it off the ball on the catch, the minute he takes too long or he waits like 3 seconds before he makes his move, a double starts coming. It starts coming from softer, then becomes a harder double, and then now he has to get it out of his hands, right? So that's what you're seeing. So Kawhi's even getting doubled without a screen, right? And this is now where you have to now advance think and find ways to be aggressive within that, because people think just because you get doubled, you pass. Now, essentially, overall, yes, that's true. Make the right play. But there's levels and there's further IQ breakdown into how that transpires, right? So there's context to everything, KYP to everything, right? When you look at it, when the guy gets doubled, right, and there's no screen involved, those doubles, now, if you make a move initially right away, those doubles aren't really effective. You can get a more guaranteed open look based off of the aggression from the initial guy who's being doubled. Now, if he catches it and he's doubled right away and aggressively doubled because he's that potent, things will open up so much that other guys will get open shots that, you could cancel out, and then now they can't double because that guy's splashing all day, every day, right? But what happens is, most times when they double you offensively, if you're that elite, like Kawhi's getting doubled, they don't double you right away. Because if they double you right away, it's going to lead to an open bucket right away. What they do is they slowly bring the double. So when a guy gets it and he faces up and he thinks I have the mismatch, okay, every man moves, he gets the ball off the post, right? Whatever, high post, he gets it. Now he looks, and the minute 1, he does his jab step, 2, now a double starts coming. And it starts coming slowly. It doesn't come aggressively. It comes slowly and then becomes aggressive. So when it's coming slowly, you're killing time. Not only that, now when the guy passes it, right, because he's like, oh, double's coming. He doesn't really, Kawhi's not really making a move. He's not really making a move aggressively. He's just letting the double come to him. That kills time. So now when he passes it, they're purposely doubling you to get it out of your hand, and then they rotate fast enough. Now when you swing, and it gets to the corner, that guy's actually there on you. The other guy who rotated, someone's on you. So now what happens is, that whole process to get you the ball already is a 5 to 6, 7 second process, right? Now when you get the ball, you're taking to make 3 seconds before you get doubled, right? So now when you get doubled, and by the time the pass gets to that guy, you're looking at 8, 7 seconds left on the clock when that guy has it. So what happens is, it's not going to come back to Kawhi. That guy's going to have to now create under duress in shot clock situations. And that's what you see in the clutch. That's why you're now canceling plays. And that's why people do double teams. Because people look at it making the right play. Yes, sometimes, yes, making the right play. It's a sentence that doesn't have context to it. It's a statement that doesn't have context to it. Making the right play. Making the right play. When you're aggressively going like you're going to pull up, now they hella double you. Now you pass to a guy wide open to the corner. That's where you get assists right off the bat because he's so open. Because of your creation. Now, if you just get it and you just pass because you're doubled, a lot of the times you're not going to get a wide open look off of that because they're purposely doubling you on purpose. They're attentive to it, and the whole purpose of them doubling you is to get it out of your hands. So you passing it in that situation right away without making a move or being aggressive means you're actually doing what they want you to do. They're not doubling you because we don't want someone open to shoot. No, they're doubling you because we don't want you to shoot. So you passing it, you're making the right play for them, actually. when you don't be aggressive and still try to fight through. That's why you see guys sometimes when they get doubled, especially when it's not on the catch or they get doubled, they long run, they right, they wide, they run, they drag and run around the width, right? They run with it. So now that double eventually has to leave because that guy's way too open. It's too guaranteed. So eventually he has to leave, and now I get my more one-on-one. Now I still have the ball in my hand, and I still create. So now what they do is they aggressively double and trap you. Then now a guy is open right away, or a guy comes to the free throw line, boom, boom, and it's more guaranteed. But it's still that guy being so aggressive. So that's what I'm saying. When you don't be as aggressive and you're getting these soft doubles, right? Or you're getting these walk-up doubles, and you just wait, find it, and you just do a lazy pass and boom, 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 boom. We want it out your hands for a reason. We want it out your hands. So you making the right play is actually not the right play because that's what we want you to do. So people don't understand and they don't break it down like that and don't understand it like that. You know what I mean? So there's levels to everything. There's advanced thinking to what's going on and what's transpiring. So when you look at it from that perspective, if I double you aggressively and we purposely leave that corner guy open, right? Purposely leave that corner guy open. So that guy isn't going to throw it all the way to the corner because the guy who's helping off the double is in the lane. So he has to pass to this guy. And he's I can't make it. Okay, here. And then everyone boom, 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 rotate and we get back. Now you have to ISO. So those doubles is a game plan double. It's on purpose. The doubles that aren't on purpose is the ones where the guy's not about to pull up and then the guy just overly helps because he's so scared and fearful of this guy's ability that he wants, nope, I'm not letting you get that off. Then now you see a drop-off pass to a straight dunk. Those are different doubles than a play double, a game plan double. That's why because you're aggressive, you bring a double that's unwarranted or a double that's, okay, we have to pick and choose. This guy's so potent because his elite arsenal bucket, not only you rather have an easy doo-doo layup or dunk from a big or whatever or Zubats than Kawhi doing a step back because the momentum that ability does for the team's morale, for the crowd, for everything, and for us and how it kills us on our morale is more damage than a guy drop off and it's just a dunk. That's whatever. Yes, the crowd celebrates, but it's not like, it's just a point. And that's the advanced IQ you need to understand of what's going on here, right? So that's why Kawhi, what he needs to do to counter these doubles, because he's not getting doubled right out the bat, right out the gate, right away. Only on the screen he is. When he plays off the post, and he goes to the high post and goes to the mismatch or whatever, and he gets it. Once he gets it, you have 2 seconds to make a move. Move quick. That's what Kawhi needs to do. Once he gets it, boom, jab, step, pull. That's that KD bag. That's why now if you're going to double team, for you to double team KD, this is why he's so different. For you to double team KD, you have to, you can't soft double KD. You can't, because he can still pull maybe with that guy lingering, whatever. Like, you can't soft double KD. You can't wait to double KD. You have to double KD right away. But what happens? Anytime you double any player right away like that, not a screen. When you off the ball, when a guy's one-on-one and you double him right away like that, automatically, that's why, boom, skip to the corner, boom, bucket, boom, a guy cuts, boom. Like, it creates so much easier opportunities, and it's more of a disservice for the defending team. It's hard to double right away on a guy so aggressively and literally win the battle, which is why teams don't reluctantly want to do that ever. But they do it because that guy is so potent. He's actually a guaranteed bucket. We have to pick our chances on role players making easier plays or whatever. We have to pick and choose. So that's what that more so is. But when you see other teams doubling, like soft doubles, doubling you after you've had the ball for 4 seconds and bringing it, you know what I mean? And that type of doubling is because they're only doubling you because now you took too long. Your opportunity is canceled. Now that we throw a double, we can kill extra time off the clock. So now that guy has to shoot it with 2 seconds left. Like, that's the thinking. That's the logic, right? So Kawhi has to make his initial move. Don't just pass the ball because you got doubled, because you're not getting aggressively doubled right away. You're getting it, and they give you a 3-4 second window. You better score in that 3 second window. Whether it's like KD, you get it, boom, jab, step, pull. He did it in the first half, but the reason why he did it like that is because he knows they're not double. He looks, no double coming. Now he's just in his bag, he's just playing. So you sagged off that jab, now I pull. It happened to be 3 seconds, but he's not cognitively thinking, he's not thinking, I need to always move quick. It kind of he was just playing. But now when you're getting doubled, Kawhi has to be aggressive and move quick. That's the way to counter their doubles because they're not aggressively doubling you. Now when you do kill off that, they're going to aggressively double you. Now there's going to be wide open looks for everybody. And that's what you saw from the other end when we want to take it to other end to Luka. That's what we saw for Luka. That's exactly what you saw from Luka. Luka was getting doubled and trapped on pick and rolls. He wasn't getting ISO situations. So because he's getting trapped on pick and rolls and is getting doubled aggressively from the pick or from when he gets a switch. When he gets a switch and it's a big or a small guy on him, that's what you saw later in the fourth. He got trapped and picked aggressively. Now you pass to that guy, then boom, Porzingis dunk. Now you skip, you throw it all the way to Finney Smith in the corner, tray ball. Like you're getting, that's why he's still getting assists or the hockey assist right away. When you aggressively double, you're going to get a bucket within 3 seconds off that pass. But when you aren't able to get a shot right away off the pass, it's because you weren't aggressively doubled. You were soft doubled or you were doubled with the intention for our rotating is going to match up and we're going to cancel and we're going to be one-on-one again. And that's what people don't understand. And that's what I know. Maybe I know I might have lost some people or whatever, but I'm just trying to go into an advanced breakdown so you understand what's actually transpiring with the Clippers, right? If you understand what's actually transpiring, it starts from Kawhi initially. People are going to say, oh, he's getting doubled. So there's levels to doubling. There's IQ and context to doubling. And that's applicable to other teams, other players, and other stuff that you're seeing. But in terms of Kawhi, he's being doubled in that game late. He has 3-second window, but he's taking too long. He faces up, then he goes, or he backs down, he looks, and then he's taking too long, and now the double comes. And then, boom. Now, that's what I don't like. That's why I want Kawhi to be aggressive. I want Kawhi to get it. Once he gets it, face up, jab, step, pull. Face up, step back. Move right away. Face up, jab, step, blow back. And then now when the double comes off your initial aggressive creation, it's going to be more of a guaranteed pass to a catch-and-shoot guy where it's not a guy has to create now. And that's the difference. That's literally the difference. You'll see a whole different dynamic. And that's what you saw from the Mavs. So when we look at Luka now, Luka created he created something that was like, this is what happened. So with Luka and this people, oh my God, how's Luka? This is the problem with Luka, especially Luka and Jokic. But we'll look at Luka in this game. When we look at the Clippers, when people play Luka, so like the Clippers, even the Nets, when they play Luka, they have a game plan of they switch everything, right? A game plan of we switch everything. So their game plan of we switch everything, what they're doing is they're actually doing something where it's, okay, you know what? What we're going to do is we're going to switch everything and just trust and force you to mono-a-mono on ISO one-on-one. That's not, you're not elite enough to just score 50 off that. So, it is what it is. We'll play with that. And you're not even going to get threes, whatever. That's what their game plan has always been to guard Luka, the Clippers, even when you look from last year in the bubble. But what's happening is they started Zubac, which was a mistake because Zubac should only start when you have a Jokic. When you have a brolic big or even a Gobert. When you have a brolic big like that, you start Zubac. Because, you know what I mean? That's why he's there. But when you have a mobility shooting big, it's the same thing you see with the Nets. They start DeAndre or Claxton, mainly DeAndre, the turn matchup-wise. But when you have a smaller big or a big that plays small with shooting and whatever, you start the smaller guy like a Blake Griffin. You start the smaller guy like an Ibaka. So you should have never started Zubac. That's already a mistake. That was already a mistake. I thought they were actually going to start Ibaka. But again, that's a bad mistake for Ty Lue. Expect probably Ibaka to start the next game. But what happened? They switch everything, and Zubac is getting destroyed by Luka. Luka probably had 20 points on Zubac to start the game. Destroyed. Step back. Like, not destroyed with just layup, blow by. Destroyed with threes, which is what Zubac is supposed to do. He's supposed to allow the three and just contest. But he came in and all-road ability, he was potent right out the gate. Mid-range one-legged step back. Step back from three. Just elite ability from Luka off the one-on-one. So now what happens and that's so dangerous. When Luka or Jokic and these guys fry early, especially for the Clippers, it's so dangerous because now what does it do? Now when he sets the screen, you don't want to switch anymore because you've seen the results of it. So what do? They start doubling. So you start doubling hard off the screen, but what happens? Luka isn't a guy who's just only a scorer. He's the perfect hybrid, just like Jokic. The perfect hybrid where they're actually playmakers at heart. Elite playmakers. So what's so dangerous is now you're letting a guy score 30-something and then he's still getting 10 assists. That's where it's almost unbeatable because those 10 assists aren't to layups. those 10 assists are to threes. That's like 30 points almost. So he's scoring 35 and he has 10 assists. Then you had 30 points. Bruh, that's 65, 70 points. That's impossible to beat. This is why guys who are playmakers, I live and die by, they have to score 70. They better score 50 to beat me. And that's where, obviously, that's why it's harder to double. It's harder to just let Luka fry because when he's hitting from 3, it's different. He doesn't always hit from 3 like that. But when he's hitting from 3, it's different because he has a balance of 3s and layups and 2s and mid, and he's applying mid-range now. You have to, you can't just allow him to score 60, right? It's different. That's what Luka's starting to tap into a newer echelon. Before allowing Luka to score 50, he scored 40 and whatever and been losing in games because it's not always 3s. He'll score maybe 3 3s, 4 3s, whatever, but majority layup and then layup. So it's 2, so you can get away with that. But now if he's applying the mid and he's hitting on this level and applying the mid-range, you can't just switch everything. So that's why they're doubling him. But then it's dime to the corner, tray ball, right? Dime to this guy or hockey assist, guaranteed punch. Like you're doubling him aggressively, and it's a guy with vision and it opens up everything. Same with Jokic. You double him, and then it opens up everything. Because they're actually playmakers. And this is why, for me, game plan-wise, to counter all that shit, what you do for guys who are playmakers, you let them score 50. Force them to be a scorer. Force them to score 50. You don't want him, like Luka, if he's hitting tough step-back threes on you, on Zubats, because the reason, so let me explain it like this. When you switch with Luka especially, when you switch everything with Luka and you have a big on him, the big wants when a big is guarding a guy who is it's a mismatch, when a big is guarding a guard or a perimeter guy and it's a mismatch, the big normally naturally prevents the blow by and actually forces you to shoot. So as a big guarding guarding a perimeter guy, ideally the big individually feels like he's done his job when he's actually forced him to shoot a shot. The big hasn't done his job when he actually gets to the paint and scores. So that's now a context that you have to apply to. So big men naturally are going to sag off because they have length too. They think that they can sag off, and then when you now shoot, they can get a contest off. That's more tougher than you getting a guaranteed layup, which is true. So that's why having a big on a mismatch, sometimes you could get away with just doing that. Unless now he's frying with ability and he's frying and he's shooting threes or whatever. That's when it's like, okay, he scored like 5 of them. We can't do this switch anymore because the threes hurt us more than the layup actually. So the individual context for the big doesn't match the team context for what they want, right? The big wants them to shoot shots, but the team doesn't want that guy to shoot shots. You see where the conflict is, which is why a big mismatch is something ideally that you don't want, right? So what happens now is they can't do that. So when you can't do that, they trap, they do all these things, right, to force Luka to now give up the ball or now play make, and that's what the problem is. Now everything opens up. So what you got to do to guard Luka and what the Clippers got to do is they actually have to, right, use IQ. When the screen comes, because Luka's he's involved in, he's not just coming out one-on-one. He gets a screen, you switch, now he kills. That's been the blueprint for Luka versus the Clippers, right? What you do now is that big gaps and recovers, right? You go under the screen as the initial defender and force Luka that small 2-second window, because what happens when they go over the screen, you go over the screen and you think he's driving and he step backs, and that's what he wants. His step back three is potent, right? So when you go over the screen, and if they don't switch, so sometimes in the earlier in the game, like Morris will go over the screen and then he'll still hit a step back because you're going over the screen and he fakes like he's driving. So then now step back, he gets space, and that's normal. That's what he wants. If you go under the screen, he's not going to step back because he's already open. You want to force Luka. Luka is you got to understand there's context to a player personnel, right? And this is KYP. Luka is someone who he pulls up threes and whatever, but you have to look at and actually dive into how he's taking those threes. That's why how you score so much matters in terms of game planning, schematically, and all of that. Luka, what you want to do, if I'm a coach and stuff from Ty Lue, what I would do to cancel all what Luka's doing is you have to pick poison, right? You have to choose. You have to pick poison and choose what you want to give up. What I would want to give up is I would go under the screen as the initial defender, and that big man would just gap for a minute and go back. So what that does is it creates a small window for that gap, because if I go under and he's gapping, he has to pull in between. So he has to come and do a dribble pull-up off the screen, right? He has to do a dribble pull-up in that gap because they're creating a V. I'm going under, right? So he can't go by this way. I'm forcing you to the screen. I'm not rejecting it. I'm forcing you to the screen, but I'm forcing you in an angle that I can go under. That big is kind of stepping up for a little bit. He's kind of stepping up for a little bit. Everybody else, shrink the floor. You don't fully pre-rotate, but be in a gap. So now you're creating a small window for that screen. So now that under, it's a V, right? It's a V like this. He has to pull up in the middle. Yes, and it's what to pull up like that. It's not going to be a set shot because they can contest. It has to be a quick. You have to anticipate it as a ball handler, as an initial player, as an offensive player. You have to anticipate it, and when you see him go like that, before you see it, because he's already, the screen comes, you can see how he's picking up, right, to the big, and you can see how they're playing it before the screen comes. So once you come, pull up in between. That's Kyrie bag. That's all those elite players. Booker, KD, pull up in between. Luka doesn't pull up in between. He doesn't. If you actually pay attention to Luka's play style, he doesn't pull up in between those. So I'll force him to do that. Most of the times, he's not going to pull up. He's going to hold and probe, right? And then by the time that screen leaves, whether he pops, whatever, the big goes back, and now I'm there because I'm under. So he has to now do a step back with me contesting. If he hits 10 threes off of that, we live with that. We lose the game. What's dangerous about Luka is if he's now switching, and he step back three, and then he's doing what he wants, and then now we double, and then now playmaking. So now he's getting his 30-something, plus the 10 assists to threes. And that's where it's hard to beat. I want Luka. This is what you do to guys who are playmakers and have elite vision, because most scorers, they can pass, but it's not potent like that. And they're so dangerous scorers that them scoring 60 or them scoring 50 is different. The momentum shift it does, is different. You don't want them to score that because they could win a game off that 50. But the playmakers who are playmakers first, you want them to keep scoring, keep scoring, keep scoring, keep scoring. At some point, their playmaking in their heart wants to pass. So it's a challenge for them to always score 50, 50, 50, 50 every game. It's a challenge for them. They're not mentally in that headspace where that's all, oh, you want me to, I'm ready. They want to play make. They see naturally when they're doing a step back, they see, oh, maybe a guy's open. They're going to naturally play make. It's hard for them to just continuously score 50, 50, 50. And if they are, it doesn't mean you're going to lose. Those playmakers, when they score 50 with 1 assist, 2 assists, most of the time they even lose those games, or you're still in a close game and you're able to win. Go, you could do history and look at it all the time. Perfect example is exactly what the Nuggets, what the Blazers did for Jokic. What did they do? They didn't double team. They didn't do nothing. They played him mano with Cantor and thing. They got abused with Cantor and Nurkic. Cantor got abused and his chest was broken. We understand that. He had 32 points. What he had 1 or 2 assists. And what happened? It still was ended up being a blowout or a 10-point whatever win by the Blazers. Those playmakers, when they play make and score, that's when it's different. Same with LeBron. If he's 40 with the 10 assists, that's when it's a different. But if he's just 40 and they have to keep scoring and keep scoring and keep scoring, at some point, they're not scores, so they time out. Or it's going to be a lot of twos. You get what I'm saying? So that's what you do. Same with Giannis. Let Giannis score 50. All twos. But we can still in the game. We can still win. And that's where, that's another gameplay. You have to understand. It's about picking poison. Yes, individually. Oh, my God, Luka 8. Oh, my God, LeBron. Oh, my God, Jokic 8. But for the team, is it the best for the team for that guy going for 50 and with barely any assists? No, they're playmakers at heart. And that's why you have to pick and choose your poison. So what I would do for Luka, I would want him to score 50, 60 to beat me. And cancel the assists. That's what I would want to do. So, when you look at it from that perspective, man, that's actually the way to guard Luka. That's the way, obviously it's different because I know Luka isn't essentially just scoring twos, but his 3-point game, he actually isn't hella potent with it. At some games he can be. And that's why Luka himself can get you 2 games. Some games he can be where he's potent like that. But you don't overreact to the results. Know what the game plan is. Know what the weaknesses and the strengths are. And if he's something you force him to his weakness, but it's not a weakness today, you live by that. But if you now react to that, it's going to open up the floodgates. Because now you're going to double. You're going to now do this. One of his main strengths is the passing ability. And that's where you have to pick. You have to have IQ. You have to pick and choose, man. That's what I know they're gonna make adjustments, but that's the main adjustment I gotta see from them. Now the Clippers again, overall, it just that Luka factor, like I said, was actually why they lost. They're obviously, at times, PG didn't shoot good, then he shot good in the second half and whatever, and this and that. That Kawhi double plus with the Luka, that right there is the main reasons. And I didn't like how they kind of went by it. I didn't like how they went with it, but that was the main reasons, to be honest. So, obviously, we'll see how it kind of goes. I still think that they should change and they should adjust. I like the Rondo factor. Now, maybe Cousins has to play, but the reasons for y'all thinking Cousins, why he's not playing, because the popping and the mobility from Porzingis and Kleba, like, Cousins is going to struggle in that. So this is not his series to be playing. The Nuggets or other series is a series to be playing. But this is not the series for him to be playing. But then again, if it's not working, maybe throw it. I think Ibaka starting is going to make a huge difference, because now what happens is Zubac is playing with the second unit, where now it's less of he's playing more against Kleba. He's playing more against a different big, where now his actual play style matches. So he's not going to be a hindrance. And Luka might not even be in the game when Zubac is in. So you have to, all of these things matter. It's a chess match, right? So we'll see how that transpires, how that pans out. I wasn't too mad with the 1-game loss. I understand how it looks and the aesthetics and how it plays out. And, oh, my God, Pretenders, here we at it again, whatever. But how did they lose and what was transpiring? Again, it came down to the things I talked about, and those can be adjusted for. They could be adjusted for. And then, I'm thinking the Clippers could win 4 straight, because that would tell me how serious they actually are. Now, again, it's tough because it's the Mavericks. I know my mind tells me 6, Clippers in 6, but my heart to see, I'm testing the Clippers by saying Clippers in 5. That's what I'm testing them. That's what that whole prediction for me saying Clippers in 5. I'm testing them to see how serious, are we for real? That's what I'm seeing, or that's what I'm expecting and wanting. So that's what my prediction for the Clippers normally was, but we'll see how that pans out. They could win 4 straight. It's the same thing that happened to Kawhi versus Orlando and them. Obviously, it's not Orlando, but adjust and let's see. And let's see the blueprint get fixed. So you already know, man. You already know.